Lemuré is coming to our divisions. She is a handout unit, just like Corbel, so people will be getting the unit for free and a bunch of her shards, but not enough to max her entirely. If you do want to build her, you will have to spend some Viz and some Blossoms to get her all the way to 120. Overall though, I think she's really worth it. She has some great moves as a Time Mage and one of the best utility kit in the game overall. Plus, the ability to deal decent damage if you want her to. So today we'll take a look at her stats, her abilities, how to build her, and just in general, whether she's a good investment or not. Let's begin. What makes Lemure such a good unit is the fact that she has an AoE haste that can be cast from far away. That really sets her apart from other Time Mages, because even in her Time Mage main job, she has access to haste, which is really good. That allows you to spec her either as a healer or as an attacker using Scholar or White Mage, but keep in mind, White Mage will be fairly weak. She does not have a healing power-up passive or full life, so she's not reliable in terms of keeping your team alive. She's also very squishy with negative resistances, as we'll take a look in a minute, but has some AoE resistance in her master ability, so that's not terrible. In terms of mobility, she clearly suffers. Move 3, jump 1 is very low, and some other Time Mages like Phoebe have insane movement from the get-go, so in that regard, she loses out on a lot of other units. Overall though, very worth building, as we'll see in a minute. She's also a dark unit with a dark master ability, so you know, good pair with Black Witch, with Dwayne. She's going to enable them quite well while also increasing their stats overall. When I look at a support, it's really hard for me to know whether their stats are good or not, because you don't really care about the same stats as some other units. But compared to somebody like Aerith, who's just going to come out, Lemure has a little bit more HP, quite a lot less magic, so that's not great, and she's a little bit slower than Aerith and Ayaka are, for example. She does have a little bit of defense, I guess that's going to be useful, and then overall fairly weak resistances to everything but magic in typical support fashion. So nothing to really talk about there. She's not the most squishy, she's not going to have great damage, but 475 magic is not terrible either, and then she's still fairly fast at 62, but nothing top tier. If we look at her stats from 99 to 120, Lemure actually doesn't get all that much from 115 to 120. Her magic increases by 60, but you're probably going to use her for her supportive side more than her offense. The thing is, you will need to get her to 120 and spend all 6 Blossoms if you want to use her, because her meta-defining ability is her 120 ability. It is the main reason why she's that good, so you do have to take into account, if you don't take her all the way, she's not going to serve you well. So the first thing I want to take a look in her kit is her passives. If you take a look, she's got the Scholar's Knowledge, which increases defense and accuracy. That's always good. She has 6 in a defense, so with that she's at 18. It's actually possible to make her hard to kill from physical attacks thanks to that. She's got the ability to decrease casting time twice with 2 different passives, which I think is really fun. If you are speccing her solely for cast time and support and you don't care about defenses, I would run both cast time reduction passives at once, and then her haste and whatnot is going to go almost instantly, which is really fun. If you do care about survivability a little bit more, then I would probably run both Scholar's Knowledge and Preliminary Chanting, because it has almost the same activation time decrease as high speed chanting, while still making one of your attacks instant cast, so that could be very relevant. I don't know that she's going to survive enough to use counterattacks a lot, but if she does land a slow counter, she's going to decrease attack, magic, and slow the enemy, so that's overall a really sad package to receive. Your attacker basically becomes crippled severely from that counter, so it's not going to proc often, but when it does, it is very impactful. The other ones aren't that great in my opinion. Okay, let's look at the Time Mage main job. You probably know that, there's already a lot of Time Mages in the game, but she has Quicken, which is always good, a move I love a lot. She has Stop, and then her EX upgrade to Stop gives it even longer range, so she can actually cast Stop from a range of 5. Now, I don't know that that's going to be super reliable, because it only has a 25% base chance, but I guess if you're casting it on another 97 Faith target, then yeah, you could have like a roughly 50% chance to stop an enemy. Not that great though. Don't rely on that too much. She has Meteor, sure, she can deal a little bit of damage, I guess, but mainly Hasteja is the ability to haste at a range, and that is crazy. You can set that up so that your entire team is hasted, and then just go ham. You've seen Tidus do it, but Tidus is limited by the fact that he needs to be around the other guys, while she can be at a safe distance, way in the back, and still be hasting your guys. So that, for me, is the key takeaway from her kit. It is the 120 ability though, so as I was saying, you will have to go all the way way if you want to benefit from that. Then Mage Sub job, nothing that crazy there. You do get more casts of haste, which I guess if you run out of haste job you might want to use. Otherwise, transposition for some cheeky plays, but since she only has 3 squares of mobility, I don't know that transposition is going to be so good. It's good on somebody like Ketone that can move all the way across the map and then transposition. On her, meh, not the best ability, so I would not use the Mage Sub job. In fact, the sub-job that does seem interesting to me is the Scholar sub-job. You gain the ability to increase your defense and def debuff. Sure, if you only need survivability, I don't think she'll use that often because she's mainly about buffing the other guys though. She gains a magic ball attack, sure, that's a little bit of damage, and then speed reading method is interesting. She restores some of her CT, so takes her next turn fast, and then decreases her cast time even further. She already has low cast time from her other passives, so if you're running that, you're going to be able to just basically insta-cast for a couple turns, which is very interesting. Then she has an ability that deals damage and decreases defense. That's fine. And mainly the Devitalizing Glint, just like Luel, is a 220 mod line attack that decreases healing power and can be instant cast if you have the right passive up. I think that's a really good damaging option for a character like her that's going to support Black Witch. She's going to leverage the dark resistance down that somebody else might cast on the enemy team, and then just deal surprising amount of damage for support, while also having hasted your entire other team. I would probably use this color sub-job most of the time, just thanks to that ability. Then there's the typical white mage job. I mean, Izuna, Protect, Shell, Cura, Curaga. She's got a couple good options there, but I don't think I would run that often because she doesn't have a healing up passive, so she's gonna heal people for like 3,000 to 4,000, but not reach the 8,000 of healing that Yuna often does. So because she's limited by that, I don't think it's gonna be worth her turn as much as just attacking with a Scholar sub-job attack, in my opinion. So here we're looking at a first build for her, where we leverage agility and speed most of all. We have a little bit of survivability, but this is mainly about playing first and making sure we get our buffs off on the entire team before the enemy team comes in range and then forces us to attack by screwing up our AI. So she has 96 agility, decent amount of magic at 971, and as per usual, I am not running other party members' vision cards, so you could have Ramu increase that by another 200 if you wanted to. She might be able to take a hit from a physical attack at 5,000 HP and 35 defense, but don't count on her surviving an attack from Dwayne or from another really heavy damage dealer. She will survive like a King Mont's attack, but not a hyper carry. In terms of partners, I mean, she's a time mage. She is a good partner for just about any character that is a damage carry, because she makes them take turns quicker and then they kill the enemy team faster. It's just overall a good pair with basically any unit in the game. But I would say units like Frederica that wants to maintain range while firing as many shots as they can before the enemy comes in would be a good partner. Somebody like Black Witch and Dwayne, I mean, they both benefit from the Dark Mastery ability, and then they're just gonna go ham and deal crazy damage. So yeah, she's gonna make that duo even stronger than it already is. Now, while I think the agility build is the best, you could try to build her for slash resistance or survivability, and that seems to be working fine on paper, right? She could walk into a fight with 5,000 HP, 23 defense, and 43 slash resistance, and then she's super hard to kill from enemy slash attackers like Dwayne, like Summer Killfay, or just whoever you fight. Be sure you avoid King Mont and Gilgamesh or other people that can reduce your slash resistance by 38 though. That is going to be too much for her to handle. In a team like this, you probably want to partner her with someone like Tabi or Silma that can further increase her slash resist, and then she can actually be a frontline time mage that can deal decent damage if you're running her as a Scholar sub-job. So that seems like a funny build, definitely one I would try, but not something I expect people to actually run often. So at the end of the day, I think most players should build her. It is going to do a little bit of a dent in the Final Fantasy VII budget, and if you're on a very tight budget, then maybe not. But overall, this unit can use AoE haste, can quicken, she can actually hit hard, her healing's not that competitive, but overall, she has a very, very solid kit in my opinion. Now, you might not want to do it if you've already EX'd Phoebe to 120, because Phoebe is more mobile, doesn't have the AoE haste, but has full life instead and a bunch of other things. I think they're comparable in many ways. And also, Lemuré is only as strong as her team. Since she relies on time magic, she's going to enable everyone. If she's paired with weaker partners, she is not going to carry by herself. That is not her role. So that might be a reason if you don't already have a bunch of super hyper carries that you're going to haste, and you're looking for a first unit to build, if you're newer into the game, then she's not the first unit to build. She will not make you win fights by herself. And then if you're really tired of the dark meta, you don't ever want to use Black Witch Helena or Dwayne or see them ever again, then maybe skip Lemure as well, because she'll be part of the trio soon enough and you'll be seeing her everywhere, I think. So, rating by game mode. For PvE, I mean, who would not want AoE haste and quicken in a PvE map? It usually allows you to take down objectives quicker and safer, so very solid kit. And then she could be your healer or your damage dealer, depending on what you need. For Arena, she is a really natural fit for Helena and Dwayne, who currently dominate the arena, so she's probably going to be everywhere. She does get a good grade there. I don't know that she's going to be as good in guild battle though, because she only has 2 casts of Hasteja. Then she's out of it. She's not going to haste you for the second battle, probably, and so because of that, I would probably not run her in guild teams. For manual PvP, again, AoE haste, quicken, and the ability to hit hard while being fairly tanky, she is going to be an insane unit for class matches. For auto PvP, a little bit less. I value this lower than I do for Arena, because you don't get to pick the enemy team you're going to fight, and so you might end up being in a bad matchup, a bad position, and not leverage your AI as well as you would want to. So overall, that's the rating. I'm definitely going to build her. I don't know how fast. I'll have to check my viz, but I would like to use her in class matches, and so because of that, I'm going to invest in her for sure. So that was it, guys. Hopefully you learned a thing or two and it helped you in your decision of whether you want to build this girl or not. Definitely do the quest, get her, and get her free shards for sure. And then you can decide whether hard quest or viz is the way to go. But thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and then have a great rest of your day, guys.